been living in the city for half a year now. I watch people walk, run, walk some more, yell, sing. I listen to buses, trains, and the music in the subway tunnels. I think about all of us, so close, ignoring each other. Yesterday, a man walking in front of me caught himself while stumbling over a crack in the sidewalk. He looked down and cursed at it, and went on his way. When I came to examine it, I thought, someone should fix that. Someone will, eventually. They'll come and smear over time's evidence, nature's defiance. It's just one of the examples of how we, as humans, fight against nature. We tend to our sidewalks, so life can move on as we know it every day. With our cement and edger in hand, we are in control. But sometimes we forget to humble ourselves, I think. Among our lights and cars, we forget to remember. We are powerless. In the heat of summer, August 2003, a massive power outage rippled across major cities. Cleveland, Ohio, Detroit, and even all the way to Canada, and then New York, New York. With the trains out of service, they had to walk. And, they would walk to taxis and buses as the commuters crowded trying to get home. The causes of the blackout was still unknown. Many point fingers at whether it was a lightning strike on Canada's side of the power grid, and, of course they point their fingers right back at us. Hundreds of flights were canceled at major airports. Electric pumps were stalled, stopping the flow of drinking water. You would think that, as night found New York City, that people would find themselves totally freaking out in riots, robbing and looting under the cover of chaos and darkness. Does electric power, though, really hold that much control over us and our behavior? But no, it doesn't. Instead, people crowded the streets just to marvel with friends. With no computers or TV to keep them inside, they helped each other out and enjoyed a break from normal life. The next day, however, power was restored, and so was normalcy. We passed the test. But that was only a day in the heat of summer, an unknown cause of power loss. We all know that Earth can conjure up storms that are beyond our control, and we know what can happen to us, and we know how to rebuild. But each time we are tested as humans, how would we react if we lost power for a couple days? How about more than a week? A month? Well, okay, let's dwell on a week. December 2008. There was a huge ice storm that ripped through parts of New England. All night, freezing rain gripped trees and power lines. As the night progressed, the weight of the ice brought down so many trees and branches that it was said that every 2 minutes you can hear cracks and falls. One small town in central Massachusetts suffered from the storm and was completely shut down. It was put under a state of emergency. Wires were ripped from houses, trees were everywhere, schools became shelters. Some didn't even get hot water or power back for more than a week, and only had to endure a bigger snowstorm that following weekend. 5 days passed, and no one knew when they were going to get power back. It was almost Christmas time, and people were starting to get impatient. As more days passed, their food spoiled, and their houses got colder, and Friendly's was packed with grumpy, unshowered parents and restless kids. I would know. I was there. I still couldn't comprehend my little town was under, and I quote, a state of emergency. Every store, every house was dark. When finally I got home, I got out of the car and admired the night sky. Of course, it was the most amazing night sky that I've seen in a while, and I began to hope and wonder that maybe others had this time now to appreciate the same thing. I went out that night to see what I could see. My younger brother, Stick, came too. I couldn't see that much in the darkness, but what I could see amazed me. The storm had taken off almost every top of every tree. The busy 2-lane road off my street would now become a 1-lane road. Later that night, I admired the moonlight coming through my kitchen window. Not really caring how bitterly cold it was outside, I went out with my camera trying to get some pictures. But no tripod. Let's just say I was trembling with excitement. In all honesty, though, I was. Now, this was my whole take on the blackout. But from what I observed, however, the first 2 days with people were, "Ooh, pretty ice. Look at how the sun shines through the ice. Oh, hi, neighbor. Looks like you got a tree in your house. Yeah, amazing that Storm can do that. It's so great that we're all okay. Yeah, same here. Same here, same here. Hey, check out my car. It's squished. Woohoo! Chinese food again tonight. Okay. Everyone helped each other out, of course. We set up a generator to run outside for an hour or so our neighbors could come and shower and we could cook dinner. As I enjoyed the simplicity of each day, I began to notice how it was taking a toll on many of the other townspeople. Around day 4 of the blackout, it became more of a survival game as everyone was trying to adjust to the forced lifestyle. The electricians were booked and the town wasn't giving any solid answers as to when everyone was going to get their power back. I paint on a chalkboard for a freelance job at the town's gym, and I got to listen to all the horror stories people were going through. Everyone was going nuts waiting for the electricians to get to their houses. Not knowing when they were going to get power back freaked them out even more. They were sick of cold, dark houses, running around trying to figure out what they were going to eat every day, and tired of not showering and tired of having their car squished. Now, I understand everyone's frustrations, of course, but it amazed me how people started to snap under pressures of not being in control with electricity. But for me, I think it was those first 2 nights I noticed a light without electricity that can come from us and everything when we aren't too busy or busy freaking out. If it happens, and it will, no matter how long the blackout is, I feel like we have to accept and remain conscious of our own reactions. I hope that when people look back, we can remember how our busy lives were shut down, so we could finally hear the sky at night, kind of asking us to take a breath.